Hello. Silence in the class, please. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. PANKAJ Rai, our Honorable Chief Guest of this evening, Ms. Jaya Deshmukh, Director and CEO of MICA, Professor Geeta Hegde, Principal and Dean of MICA, members of MICA faculty, staff, supporting staff, incoming students of 4 programs, PGDM-C, PGDM, CCC, and FPM, and their parents. A warm welcome to all of you. Welcome. My name is Setu Iyer. नाम तो शायद सुना नहीं होगा. I'm not Rahul, so anyway. And it's my honor and privilege to welcome all of you to MICA's inaugural session of 2025-26, the academic year. Good. Good to clap for yourselves. Allow that. I thought you were clapping for me, but great. Well, before we start, as many of you may be aware, yesterday, one of us and one of the PGP students, Shubham Bijarnia of the PGP, lost his beloved father, Colonel Shamsher Singh Bijarnia, who had come to MICA to help Shubham settle down. It was a very sad and unfortunate incident, given that Shubham is now one of us and part of the MICA family. So as a mark of respect and remembrance to Colonel Bijarnia, I would just request all of you to kindly stand up and observe a 1-minute silence. Thank you. Thank you all. As with every major function at MICA, we begin with the lighting of the ceremonial lamp. And for doing the honors, may I call upon our chief guest, Mr. PANKAJ Rai, Ms. Jaya Deshmukh, our Director and CEO, our Principal and Dean, Professor Geeta Hegde, our Registrar, Professor Shubhra Gaur, Professor Santosh Patra, Associate Dean, Academics, and Professor Suresh Malodia, Associate Dean, Knowledge, to kindly come and help light the ceremonial lamp. I would also request any student of the PGP and the FPM to just come forward and join them. Any student or any FPM scholar. Thank you. Is there a FPM scholar here? Please come. Any student who comes here will get extra credit. So she made it before you. I'm sorry. So. We have with us today 226 students of the PGDM-C and PGDM program, 48 students of the CCC program, and 7 scholars of the FPM program. All of you have come here after going through tough MICA entrance exams and tougher group exercises and personal interviews. You are the chosen ones who made it to MICA. Congrats and best wishes, and let's give it up again, once again, to all of you. And who better to start the proceedings than one of your own, our first batch alum, who incidentally is also our director and CEO, Ms. Jaya Deshmukh, to kindly come here and not just address you, but also in the process, reminiscence about her time when she joined the first batch, just like you, in 1994. Ma'am, the floor is yours.
So you'll see me do this. Can I move this? That's better, right? Right. So now everyone can hear me. It's audible. Right. The thing is, I hate mics and I hate the formality of the podium. This is a very MICAN trait. We like to talk, but we don't like something obstructing us, right? So welcome. I have a big speech. Sethu also wrote this, for me. He's wonderful with words. But when we start something like this, I become very emotional. And, and then it becomes a kind of a free flow, right? But first, congratulations. It is absolutely amazing to see each one of you. It fills our hearts with a lot of pride. You won't know it, but there's a whole machinery behind getting you here. Okay? And at this point, I want to just call out, I don't know whether Love Bhai is here and the other admissions team, but if you are listening to us, I'd like you to give a big round of applause to Taral, Ruchi. It's a big process, and it's full of work, long hours, but it's also extremely wonderful because at the end of it, we get to meet you. Okay? There was a training done by Taral and Ruchi with the faculty, those who are going to come to interview you, so we were trained, right? And boy, we failed, right? And so we got trained again because, we really do this well, in getting you here. Because there is something called a MICAN. There is something very unique about being a MICAN. And from this day onwards, each one of you can proudly call yourself a MICAN forever. Isn't that amazing? That forever. Like you'll be like me, 30 years, 35 years after, and you'll be saying, I'm a MICAN, right? So it is with you forever. And you're part of this wonderful community of 5,000 odd MICANs. It's an extraordinary journey. So what you're commencing, I can't even begin to explain what's going to happen. But not only what's going to happen to you as a professional, but what's going to happen to you personally. Right? You are going to completely change. So as an anecdote, when I came to this campus, 1994, thank you Sethu for revealing my age, of course you'll know, but still, right? 1994, this sounds really basic, but I had never worn jeans, right? Because I come from a small town. And so jeans, and at that time, I wore salwar kameezes and saris. So when I came here, my roommate is someone called Arundhati Ghosh. And Arundhati Ghosh is a militant Bengali feminist lady, right, who was in shorts who would smoke, who'd see football, and was completely different to who I was, right? And I was someone who would get up in the morning and recite Hanuman Chalisa. Nothing wrong. It's my upbringing, and it's given me faith. So, but I was next to a Bengali tigress, right? And I evolved. I evolved to understand that there are diverse voices, right? There's different points of views. And what I think is right may not necessarily be right. And so I changed. I evolved. And each one of you are going to go through this journey. Apart from that, there are going to be a lot of wonderful romantic walks. I promise you, it's going to happen. Boys, this is your chance, right? There will be heartbreaks, right? And we are here for that too, right? There will be heartbreaks, right? And then there will be more romantic walks, right? Interestingly, the number of couples that MICA has generated are enormous. Parents in SH1 and SH2, don't worry, we'll take care of them. I forgot that parents, but it is all okay, right? Right. It's all okay. So, oh, sorry. It is going to be transformative and wonderful, right? Now, why am I saying all of this? I'm saying this because last year we did, a big market research survey. So we went to 1,000 odd people. These were corporates, these were recruiters, these were, faculty members from peer, institutes, IIMs, SPJIMR, etc. So our peers, and we did a massive survey to ask them, what's a MICAN? What's so unique about being a MICAN? And I'm really proud to tell you that what they said is that when it comes to being authentic, innovative, creative problem solving, adaptive, leading through ambiguity, okay? And simply being extremely, I've been told to speak near the mic. Right. Okay, for the live recording. I apologize. So, where was I? Yes. So, when it comes to creative problem solving, being innovative, authentic, dealing with ambiguity or leading through ambiguity, creative problem solving, we are number one, right? Overall, IIMs, ISP, but this is, mic is there. How many mics? Right, right. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm dealing with this. So, even I was surprised, so way above. This will happen again, okay? Because when it shifts over, so this will happen again. So where was I? Yes, so we are number one, right? And the interesting thing about this was, there was no, when you look at this, the kind of ranking that happened, nobody gave us a 3, it was 1. Like, number one. No one, there wasn't like people saying you're the third best or fourth best or fifth. We were not in the middle. We were all number one. So this is really unique about us, right? And the admissions process, the work that you did goes to try and find you, So be very proud. All of these adjectives are about you, right? This is who you are, right? So my eyes have been hunting for, and I've been told that this is what happens. My eyes have been hunting for those people I interviewed, right? So I think I recognize a few, but did I interview anyone? Yeah. Are you the boys from Venkate, the Hyderabad? You are here. You are here, right? Okay. That's amazing, right? They're best friends. So one gave an interview, the other gave the exact same interview. Right? Right. And who else did I? Yes, yes, I remember. And yes, so I'm really, really glad to see you. You made it, right? Welcome, right? Welcome to everyone as well, but these are special. All right, so coming back to the more important things that I must talk about. So yes, this is a transformative journey. Your starting point are these characteristics, okay? So don't use the next 2 years trying to be creative. You already are. Don't use the next 2 years trying to be innovative, authentic, dealing with ambiguity. You already are, right? So what should you try and become in the next 2 years? So the next 2 years, we are going to transition into a new world. And as you know, and if you've seen some of the things that I talk about, I constantly talk about AI and data, right? Now, it doesn't mean that you have to become a coder or to do, development or coding or, become deeply technical. But it does mean that you need to understand AI, right? It does mean that you need to understand data, right? And so please lean in. So just for the record, I failed both at MICA. I failed quantitative techniques and I failed computers, right? So I've just about passed MICA because you can't get two, and at our time we couldn't get 2 Fs, right? So just about, so it was, they gave me a retest and I passed that, but just about, and I got a D, right? So my entire career, as you know, has been in this space, so in strategy and data and computers, because I've worked at Google and Microsoft. So if someone like me can make it, so can you, okay? But what you need to do is lean in, right? And that's why we've got our chief guest here, because his entire career is around this space. And it's so important that you become data literate. And don't be afraid of it. So if there's one call that I would give you, please lean in, right? To data and to AI and to technology and to software. You cannot say in the world that you are going to go in, Hamara to career is now, at over. You have an entire career ahead of you. So in that career, if you are not going to be on top of these two things, it's not really going to work for you in the long run. And MICANs do exceptionally well. So if you look at it, we've got a disproportionate number of CEOs, CEO -1s, chief strategy officers. Okay, it's going to go to the lights. Like chief strategy officers, chief marketing officers, CEOs, they're all a part of MICA. We can rattle off names. We've got great entrepreneurs. We've got people who have got unicorns, and across the globe, we've got a real diaspora. So we've got people in the US, we've got people in Europe, we've got people in Singapore, of course we've got people in India. So we are all over, Middle East, Dubai, and it's a very, very strong community, and they're doing exceptionally well, and everyone will help you. I promise you that, right? So we're very, very tight-knit. So think about your journey. So when you think about the next 2 years, please think about the journey. Okay? Now, at the end of these 2 years, from the PGP group, you will come out as brand managers or sales managers or business analysts or product managers. These are kind of your career goals. From CCC, you'll come out as art directors, copywriters, creative content producers. And if you look at FPM scholars, you are with us for 4 years, so we have more of you. You're really important for us because no educational institute worth its salt is good enough if its research isn't right out there. So the ambition is to be a world-class producer of research, a place which not only expands knowledge but also creates knowledge. So when you are doing your research, be curious, right? Go and push the borders of what we already know, and I'm eagerly looking forward to seeing new knowledge being created out of MICA. And that's why we've got an Associate Dean Knowledge who's going to spearhead our entire effort. We've got some amazing faculty. I mean, I should not call out, but there's some people who are absolutely stunningly doing great work here. Please reach out to them for all curiosities regarding knowledge expansion theories and models and methods. So research, I'm very bullish on going out into the industry and changing everything, right? I think I have 5 more minutes, right? How am I doing with time? Or 5 more minutes? Right. Right. So the last piece that I wanted to share with you, yes, the last thing is when we think of MICA, we really think of 5 C's, right? But if you can't remember 5, remember 3, right? So we are always about the customer, whether we are doing research, whether we are in creative, pieces. And for the creative, the CCC, who's joining us online right now, and you'll be on campus very soon, I want to say that creativity underpins data, makes data come alive. And data gives wings to creativity. I would know that because my bachelor's was in fine arts and economics, right? So I'm a terrible painter, but I aspire to be one, right? So what I'm trying to say is that these things come together. There is this interdisciplinariness about MICA that really makes us thrive. So coming back, because I forgot where I was, customer is critical. That's where we should be. Think about the customer all the time, number 1. 2, think about how we communicate. How, it's so important to be articulate, especially in the world that we're going to inhabit, which is going to be us as well as the machines, right? So how do we have this machine-human dialogue, human-human dialogue, machine-to-machine dialogue, which we are going to control? So communication is absolutely the key, including the storytelling aspect of communication. There are different ways to do that. And this you all do very well. I saw that in the interviews, right? Third, don't forget this thing on creativity. So while I'm asking you to get knowledgeable, proficient, and lean in data and analytics and coding and AI, software technology, don't lose your heart and your home, which is to be creative, right? But creativity can come out in all ways because we are creative problem solvers. And then what's not very clear to us, but is very much a theme of MICAN's, is the culture and the fact that we care so much about our community. There is a MICAN culture. You will get to know it. Maybe you already understand it because you are mutant and proud. That's what we call ourselves, by the way. You'll see it. When you meet a MICAN, they will give you these signals about being mutant, which we are kind of. We are. Yes. So then there you see. So there is something about it, the way we are, our culture, but more so it is the diversity that we bring, the ability to hear different voices and it's okay if someone disagrees with us, it's fine. We learn and we move on. So do think about the culture, and we always give back to the community. I mean, we've got this wonderful effort that we do under something called CDMC. Manisha is here, and there's a group of people. We do absolutely stellar work there, and lean into that too, because eventually just earning money, which is a wonderful thing. I like to earn money, and I hope each one of you will get a great CTC. You will. There's Indraneel here who's responsible, and Nirja who's responsible for your placements. Placements are going to be good, right? So while that is extremely important, don't forget to contribute back to the community, right? So I think that kind of ends everything that I had to say. Did I say everything, Setu? Did all the points? No, that's a lot. No. But what I'd like to leave you with is what I told the first batch, which was my first batch last year, that how many of you have read Calvin and Hobbes? Have you read Calvin and Hobbes? Okay, so some of you will get it. If not, it's a cartoon. Like it's really nice. When you come to MICA, and I'm quoting from Calvin and Hobbes, there's treasure everywhere. There's treasure everywhere. It's up to you to find it, right? It could be with each other. It could be behind the temple. It could be in class. But there is treasure everywhere. And I found mine. I hope you find yours too. Welcome, and look forward to interacting with you.
Thank you, ma'am. And I think tomorrow morning I'm going to see a lot of students behind the temple, behind the hostels, cricket ground, and searching for something. So I don't know what it is. She's not revealed it, but there could be something. I think I'll go there. I have not found it yet. Anyway, so now the lights will stand good now, because I think once it goes, then again once it comes back, it doesn't go. The last time I saw an audience flashing their mobiles in Ahmedabad was during the Coldplay, which happened at Ahmedabad. So you must have seen that. We were privileged to have Coldplay here at the stadium here. So next is I would invite MICA's External Relations and Growth Head, Dr. Indranil Banerjee, to introduce our chief guest of this evening. Dr. Banerjee.
Good evening to all of you. It's my pleasure to introduce to you the chief guest for today's evening, Mr. PANKAJ Rai. He's a part of Aditya Birla Group's Chief Data Analytics Officer and has a professional experience of over 30 years in strategy, consulting, and financial services. Mr. PANKAJ was formerly a Senior Vice President at Wells Fargo, Head of Analytics at Dell, and Head of PMO at Standard Chartered Bank. PANKAJ has a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from IIT Delhi and an MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. Mr. Rai, in his current role as the Group Chief Data Analytics Officer, is based in Bangalore and leads the group's strategy on analytics and data science, enabling its varied businesses ranging from cement, chemicals, metals to fashion retail and financial services to enhance their decision-making capabilities using data science. He also enables the analytics maturity journey of the business teams by creating digital products and platforms that can scale across the group and beyond. Before this, Mr. PANKAJ worked as the Senior Vice President Strategy at Wells Fargo, where his key initiatives included establishing the digital capabilities to enable the bank's digital channels and building an internal consulting team to drive the global programs. He also worked as the Director of Analytics at Dell, where he led a team in business research, data, supply chain, and financial services. Prior to joining Dell, he was the head of Program Management Office at Standard Chartered Bank in their Singapore regional office, wherein he helped grow their shared services centers in India and Malaysia. Mr. PANKAJ started as a management consultant with Feedback Ventures in Delhi, and then went on to work in the financial services industry with ICICI and GE Capital in a variety of roles covering sales, risk management, Six Sigma, and operations. In his free time, Mr. PANKAJ enjoys long-distance running, which is highly visible, and cycling, badminton, and meeting people at his favorite cafe in Bangalore's Koramangala. So I've requested a time also next time when I'm in Bangalore. Thank you, and the stage is for you, sir.
Works, na? Ah. There's no slides. Huh. Okay. So there are three things I thought I'll talk about. One was I was reflecting on when I was sitting like this in my MBA college. So some reflections on that. The second will be 9 years ago, my daughter was going to go to college. And my wife asked me that I should tell her something, like, you know, I've been asked to tell you something. So that's a longer story of life. And lastly, what is it that you should do tomorrow? So those are the three themes I thought I'll pick up. The second one is going to occupy most of the time. So the first one first. When I was coming in the car, I was thinking, what did I not know when I was there, and what do I now know? And a few things came about. I think our social structure at home, our educational structure, and pretty much some of you have worked in organizations also. All of those structures somehow, not necessarily directly but indirectly, tell you that there are some questions out there which someone else will tell you, and you have to find the right answer better than anyone else. That's how, all our exams are. Someone will give you a set of questions. You got to answer better, faster, smarter than someone else. And usually in office also, it appears that there's a boss who'll tell you what needs to be done, and you got to do it better than the next guy. Something like that, right? So that's the sort of general this thing. I think over the years, I figured out that in the real world, and more so in the digital world that you are inhabiting, some of it was not necessarily true in the past. I think the question also you have to find out. And the answer also you have to find out, and that answer may not be the same than the next guy, because it was your question in the first place. It wasn't someone else's question, right? So I think that was the reflection which will serve as a basis for a lot of other things that I'll talk about. So let's keep that in mind. That will lead to the last thing that in the end we'll say, what should you do now? I think the middle part is my main sort of talk, which I always talk about. So 9 years ago, when my daughter was going to go to college, my wife said that you keep going to all these places and tell people what to do. So as you can see, I've been doing this. So the moment your hair turns gray, you get invites. Because the assumption is that both of them are assumptions. One is that you know a lot, and the second assumption is others are wanting to listen to you. You can question both of them, but irrespective. So since I have been doing this for a living, so I can share with you what happened. But when it was asked at home, it's different. Because then that story can be recorded and replayed at you for the rest of your life. Right? So I couldn't have just come here and said something and frankly didn't care what happened, right? So I said, let me think about it. So what I did was, I thought I can't tell my daughter what they should do. Let me try to derive some kind of a framework, right? You guys are MBAs. I was an engineer and an MBA. So I thought I should have a framework, which the MBAs are taught. But since I was an engineer, I should derive it, so that people shouldn't say, how did these 4 Ps come about? Why not 5 and why not something else, right? So the derivation is of a 5C framework, by the way, incidentally. I didn't know you also have a 5C framework, but this framework eventually will become a 5C framework. But the data point of this 5C framework is really my own life. All my data point, right? I'm a data analytics guy, so you guys are being told that data analytics is very critical. So I'll use my life story as a data point, analyze it myself, try to derive these 5Cs out of that, and that is what I told my wife and my elder daughter Pragya, who was going to go to college, right? So before that, therefore, I will to tell you my life story, so that these insights can be derived from that. So I was born on the day Neil Armstrong landed on the moon. Anyone knows the date? I think you must have checked somewhere before. So he seems to have extra information about me, Ashutosh. Anyway, yeah, so I'll turn 56 on 21st of July, right? So I am like your parents who are sitting in the next room, right? So think of me like that, right? Okay, now, so just quickly about me. Some of the data was shared with you, but I think there's much more interesting stuff which is behind the data. So when you see a LinkedIn profile or when you listen to the bio, that just tells you the what. That doesn't tell you the why and the how. So let me share with you some of the background. But usually, what you'll also realize later in life, that a lot of who you are and why you are is actually because of your parents. That linkage comes to you much later in life, which came to me much later in life when I started giving these talks and when I started deriving the framework. So therefore, I have to give you a brief background about my parents so that you can then relate later on. So my dad was a super 30 type of guy. He grew up in a small village in UP near Banaras, and he landed up in IIT Bombay knowing only one language, Bhojpuri. So this is what super 30 people are, right? And the story that you hear in those that, I swam to school and walked 10 kilometers. So they always say, why is the school always on the other side of the river and why is it so far? But anyway, I didn't ask those questions. I just listened to whatever my dad said. So the driven person that he was, his interest, and of course then he got scholarship to go abroad, and parents said, no, anywhere out of the village you have gone, work in a government company. So he worked in a government company. So I lived initially in Gorakhpur, a township. My dad took up a government job, Fertilizer Corporation of India. So 8-9 years I was there. Then, of course, he was very, progressive. He got promoted, went to Delhi. So next 25 years, I lived in Delhi. And then the next 1.5 years, I was in Singapore, and now 20 years in Bangalore. So that's the breakup of my, where I have stayed in. And in Delhi, I was sent to a school called Modern School, Barakhamba Road. Anyone from Delhi here? Yeah. So Modern was not necessarily your proverbial school that sent people to IIT. Later on, a lot of people asked me that, why did your dad send you to IIT? See, you ask these questions of your dad much later in life. That time you just follow. So he had told us, you have to go to IIT, you have to go to this school. I did all of that. So he said, in my IIT Bombay class, lots of people spoke good English. And since I didn't even know Hindi, I thought this is a school you should go to. All the other subjects anyway, I'll teach you. So that was his logic. See how we are created as products of our parents' imaginations and ideas. So that's how I was. So I had no option but to go to IIT, and so was my brother, 2 years younger to me, because that was my father's dream, and my father has met all his dreams. So two of us were also part of his dream, and we So he, in a public sector, it's not easy to become a managing director of a company, which he made for the first company at the age of 48, became the chairman of 2 other companies, and retired, right? So he met all his dreams, very superb career. After that, he went on to study all the Gita, Mahabharata, everything. So in Sanskrit, he can recite every shloka from wherever and things like that, right? So that's the kind of a dad I had when I was young. So I did not take many decisions, as you can make out, because he was there to take all my decisions, right? People talk about decision making, database decision making, gut feel, whatever. Didn't develop any of those because there was enough and more of that with my dad, which again, of course, at that time I didn't know, but later on I realized that I didn't develop decision making capability. So after IIT, usually what people in those days used to do would go abroad to do higher studies, because that was the standard this thing. So the only good thing now I reflect that those universities used to do is to, after the exam, they also asked you to write SOP, Statement of Purpose. When I wrote my second statement of purpose of doing Masters in Electrical Engineering, I realized ये झूठ है. And I did not, it's a lie. So I said, I'm not going to do that. So I stopped, writing to those universities. So what is left? Then you have to do MBA. So CAT was the other option. And when you are at college, people are giving all these exams. So I gave the CAT exam. I got only one admission. When you see my biodata, it appears I am Ahmedabad. So it must be a smart chap. But I had only one. I didn't have any other option. And the reason for that is also pretty simple. So while my dad taught me how to speak good English, I could not speak in a group. He didn't realize that there is a group discussion. In any case, after IIT, he had given up. You do whatever you feel like. I have done my deed. So anyway, so I got only one because Ahmedabad did not have a group discussion. So my suspicion is, I have no way of knowing. I'm just making sense out of it that why did I not get anywhere? Because I didn't speak in any of those GDs. I just kept quiet. In this one, there was no GD. I spoke something and I got it. So I suspect that's why I got here. So anyway, I was here in the neighborhood. So after that, on day 4, I got my first job. So day 4, by the way, everyone gets placed in these IIM, right? So it wasn't as if I was. And the 2 jobs that I got were, one was selling light bulbs for Wipro. So Wipro, by the way, has a consumer product division also. Most people don't know. So they sell light bulbs. And the other one was Feedback Ventures, the company which does consulting. So my friends told me, boss, it's very highly unlikely you can sell anything, forget light bulbs. This Feedback Venture seems okay because we have learned PowerPoint, and I'm sure they ask you to make presentations, so I'm sure you can probably do that, right? So that's how I went to Feedback. After 2 years, a friend of mine in ICICI said that you give advice, we give money. This is a superior job, which sounded right to me. So I went to ICICI. The current MD of ICICI, Sandeep Bakshi, he interviewed me, selected me. See, the good thing about having good degrees is that unless proven guilty, you are supposed to be innocent. So the default hypothesis is you must be smart till you open your mouth and do something else, which hopefully I would not have done. So Bakshi selected me. So ICICI was a great place. I learned a lot. Then I got married. By the marriage decision also was quite interesting. So the marriage decision also in the arranged marriage era that I was a part of, we didn't have these trees and temples and those things. Or maybe we had, but the ratio was so skewed that I knew that mere se kuch nahi hone wala, right? So I don't think I had any aspiration, ambition, capability of that sort. So I was just doing whatever I could do. So that's how my life was. So they asked me to meet my wife Ritu. She's from Lucknow. So I said, I should actually meet her separately. So I said, I will meet her separately, which is not very normal. So, Acha, you will meet her. Where will you meet her? So I said, I'll take her for a walk. So anyone from Lucknow here? There's a place called Hazratganj. Hazratganj mein walk karenge. So that was a big deal in those days. Ki this boy is taking our girl out for a walk in Hazratganj. But anyway, my father-in-law was a police officer and my brother-in-law was a lawyer. So they said, this is our city, it's in control, so what can you do wherever he goes? So anyway, we walked for 2 hours. And in the end, we asked each other that, what do you think? It looks okay only. So anyway, so we said, they will ask us. We'll say, yeah, nothing wrong. So both of us were asked, is there anything wrong? They said, no. So if there's nothing wrong, then you get married 30 years ago. So decision making was being taken based on, if there is nothing wrong, please do it, right? So that's how so that happened. But after that, because she was the homemaker, I was told, boss, this ICICI salary is not good enough. You should work for a multinational company. So multinationals were a big deal those days. And so I, like many others who had gone to Citibank and others, I went to G Capital, double the salary, pretty much similar work. So that is how you take decisions when you are young, that paisa zyada, calm, shayad same or whatever. So that's how I went to do G. And then G had gotten into this whole global offshoring world. You have heard of this company called Genpact. So I was assigned the job of making a business plan for Genpact, which was an upcoming, idea and a capability within G. So I was in the financial services side. So having done that and some amount of Six Sigma, my identity of being a banker sort of changed. And that's how I went to Standard Chartered, who were setting up a offshore center in Chennai and Singapore and all that. And then that brought me to Dell in Bangalore, where I got into analytics. And then analytics had become very technical in those days. So by 2016, I had spent many years in Dell. There was a guy called Andrew Ng, who's very famous, chief scientist of Baidu and all of that. So he had launched a course on Coursera on machine learning. So machine learning was the emerging field. So I went there, everyone in my team was telling me. So by the way, as you can make out, I had no background in statistics or data science or data engineering, which I'm supposed to be doing right now. So you should know what all I know, what I don't know. So I said, yeah, all my team members are talking about this machine learning. I'm also an IIT electrical engineer. I should be also able to do it. So I also downloaded that course. After 20 minutes, I realized I still do not like electrical engineering or anything resembling that. If you remember the Amitabh Bachchan dialogue, मैं नीचे गिरे हुए पैसे अभी भी नहीं उठाता, so अभी भी electrical engineering नहीं पसंद आई. So anyway, I said ठीक है. So at that point in time, someone offered me a job which was away from data science, which was to do something else. So I said, चलो, let me go there. बहुत हो गया, fine. And then anyway, after 6-7 years, another friend of mine was in Aditya Birla, and he said, come here, don't worry, there are other people who do data science, you can do other stuff. So I'll tell you how these jobs are and why without knowing any of these things, you can still do these jobs. So that's a different topic I'll talk about. So that's how life is, right? And on the way, I learned, got into running and cycling and all that. So 2 daughters, the elder one for which this framework is being created. Younger one is also working. Both of them are at home. My wife is a homemaker, like I said. Dad is retired, doing everything. So the framework is, what did I learn in these 30 years through this story that you just saw? So the first thing that I thought I learned was that 91, 93, when I graduated, Indian economy was, and the global economy was globalizing. So globalization was a big deal. My suspicion is, your parent generation and my generation benefited a lot from that tide of globalization. 8% GDP growth rate versus 2%, Hindu rate of growth before that, all of that, right? So we all benefited from that globalization, had good jobs, had good salaries, had good careers, all of that. And this framework was, by the way, created 8-9 years ago. So whatever I'll say now will appear very obvious, but that time it was not so clear. So my thinking was that this whole globalization has created wealth, but it has not been distributed properly. The Gini coefficient and inequality has increased. And therefore, my projection was that the future will belong to deglobalization, because the people will say that trickle-down theory doesn't work. We didn't get anything, so what's the point? We should deglobalize, we should look inward. And I think now it is absolutely clear that that's happening, but that was my thinking, that the future is looking like going towards deglobalization versus globalization that I had inherited, and your generation will face the exact opposite trend of what I had trend. And therefore, what does it mean for us? So my thinking of this framework was economics, supply and demand. What will be in short supply and high demand? Therefore, I should acquire that characteristic. So I was thinking, what will be in high demand in the future? And therefore, I should acquire that capability. So 2 ways to look at it. One was look at all the global public sector problems, global warming, environment, what have you, terrorism. All of them require collaboration. You can't solve any of those things sitting on your own. If you look at all the value created in all the private sector companies, they're all platforms. None of them is an island. So everywhere you see that you require collaboration, working together with people, but everyone seems to be looking inward, whether you are an individual or a country or a company or whoever. So what is in short supply? So my first C was compassion. And compassion to me was just thinking about many other variables in your decision-making process versus just about yourself. Because looking inward means you're just thinking about yourself. Compassion means you're looking outward. You're thinking more about the long term, many more stakeholders. So compassion was the first thing I thought will be good to acquire. If you're a hedge fund manager, it's a good strategy. If you are an altruist, anyway, I don't have to preach to the choir, and that's how it is. So C, the first C was that. Second one was related to the scarcity that we grew up in. And you could see in my story, my dad chose doctor engineer, 4 hands Colgate, 2 toothpaste, Vespa Lambretta, 2 scooters, Fiat Ambassador, 2 cars. So we had only 1 or 2 choices in any walk of life. And therefore, the decision making, even arranged marriage, like I was telling you, nothing wrong, please get married, right? So it wasn't, Tinder wasn't there, right? So all of those things. So in a decision making situation for a scarcity environment, I think you have to spot trends. So trend spotting is the decision making criteria. Find the right trend. My father sought the trend, put me into engineering, great. We all sought trends. So trend spotting was a way to take decisions. When you are in an abundance environment, which is what you are inheriting, you can't spot trends. There is no trend. Everything is possible. So what do? So the decision making has to change to look inward to figure out what you are good at. Form your own trend. Be a trend setter versus a trend spotter. So the second C to me is conviction, which is belief in yourself on what you are good at and what can you do, which requires some experimentation, some understanding of what you are good at. So that will lead to that conviction, following from your compassion in the first place. So if you're thinking long-term, thinking broadly, experimenting a lot, trying out different things, you will develop your own conviction on where do you want to play. The third C was related to my Six Sigma days. So continuous improvement, which is what Six Sigma used to represent, was a great strategy those days. So there was a company called Toyota, which beat Ford and General Motors because they followed continuous improvement. There was a methodology, good methodology to learn, demake, define, measure, analyze, improve, control, look at a process, define it, measure it, the baseline, analyze it, improve it, keep it there. So you'd continuously improve. Toyota would do it, daily morning, someone will come, meeting, some small improvement, others were beaten hollow, till Tesla came along, right? So the third C for me was really creativity, which your school stands for, that it is not a linear game. You have to continuously reinvent yourself, think out of the box. You can't just do the linear game. Linear is good, but not enough. Necessary, but not sufficient. So to me, initially, this 3C framework was born. Be compassionate, think long-term, think broadly, keep expanding your horizon. That will allow you to develop your own conviction by figuring out where is your ticket to play. Hopefully, that will make you creative. So this was the initial first version product, 3C, given to Pragya and my wife. They were happy. I'm quite articulate, very logical, so it looked like. 2 years later, when I asked them, Pragya has forgotten. Said, yeah, this product has failed. The user is not using it, doesn't even remember it. So I said, I need to make this product slightly better and launch it again. So that's when I added 2 more C's. The first one was really curiosity. You have to be curious. If you are not curious, nothing is going to happen. So curiosity, leading to compassion, which is expanding your horizon, leading to your own conviction, then creativity, and then communication, whatever it is. If it is a product, launch it, tell whatever it is. And that communication will invite other questions, which will go back to curiosity. So this is the proverbial Amazonian flywheel of 5 C's to say, start with curiosity, become compassionate, become convinced about where you want to play, be creative, communicate, and go back and round and round. So that is how my 5C framework was born. I shared it with them. After that, I have not checked. Hopefully, she remembers it. But then I shared with many other people, and they said this seems to be quite rational for anyone and everyone, not necessarily relevant only for your daughter. And that's what I think I have taken away, that in some ways, it probably reflects what my lived life experiences is, that just being curious and doing things and figuring out where you go and keep doing that. In fact, these days, some of you have also worked, there is this whole idea of agile product management, which is there in the IT industry. Now this agile, and I look at the IT industry because that industry moves very fast. Unlike manufacturing, which moves slowly, so a lot of things are very visible there, but the same principles can apply to manufacturing and to life as well. So I look at agile product management actually as a very good way to think about our life also. So the product management principle basically in agile methodology say that don't be thinking about the waterfall approach. Waterfall means you're thinking long-term, which is 5-year plan and 10-year plan and all of that. No one knows what's going to happen. Better way is to have shorter sprints and release something every 2 weeks. So in the software development, it days for 2 weeks. You can change that 2 weeks for your own life if you consider yourself as a product to 2 quarters or 2 years. But think of yourself, because people think about career paths and career plans and all of that. My view is think of yourself as a product. And think of figuring out what is happening out there, where do you want to play, the same curiosity, compassion, adding some features to yourself, and keep evolving. And wherever you reach is what the right thing is. It's almost like saying, is there a, let's say Amazon is an example. So Amazon has a website. Can anyone tell where it was 5 years ago, where it will be 5 years ago? No. They just look at customer signals. They keep modification, and then keep reinventing it. And same way, if we can look at ourselves as a product, we can look at signals, keep experimenting, keep figuring out, and keep evolving ourselves. So that's one way of thinking about career. Now, the question is, what should you do? Because sometimes, what you need to do is sort of very hard, because these are all esoteric, abstract ideas. So one thing that I had read in Steve Jobs' speech or book was that he would talk about connecting the dots, and he would also say that dots only connect looking backward. So my corollary of Steve Jobs' thought process was that I think what we can do, that one thing, which is collect the dots. And I think that was mentioned over here. Can we keep collecting the dots? To me, collecting the dots is a new relationship, a new experience, a new way of doing things, just trying out things and exposing ourselves to new things. I think if we can just collect a bag of dots, which is interesting to us, some of them we like, some of them we won't like, but if we have a bunch of dots, some of them will connect. Because in the past, many of us would just follow one dot, and that dot will become bigger, there's nothing left to connect. And with AI and many of these technologies coming in, we don't know which dot will connect to whom. So I think the only advice I can give all of you is to say that if you believe in that 5C, or figure out your own 5C, but I think collecting the dots, being curious, and hoping that that will lead to something is probably the only advice I can give you. And therefore, the answer is, Ja Simran, ji le apni zindagi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We enjoyed hearing you. And as a token of appreciation from all of us at MICA, I would request our director and CEO to give you a small memento to remember us. A big round of applause, and you can open it. You can, yes. Thank you, sir. Now may I request our Dean and Principal, Professor Geeta Hegde, to welcome you all and introduce the MICA Academic Fraternity. Ma'am.
So welcome once again. When Jaya does this out-of-the-box thinking, my work is to tell her there is a box, come back and there's a process and there's a procedure, but but we do. And there's a lot of work that we do in taking you ahead and seeing that what we can do for the batch of 25, 27. Welcome once again, and a big round of applause to you, because you are the one who have been selected out of, I think out of 98, each one of you have got that seat in which 98 of them have not got the seat. So you can imagine how, how excellent this MICAT is. And the process that you've gone through, again, was already mentioned. So big congratulations once again. So thank you, Pankaj, for the 5 Cs. And as I was listening to you, I also found out that I think most of the MICAN Cs already, 3 Cs are done. The MICAN magic, what we speak about in terms of compassionate, in terms of communication, in terms of creativity is already there. So maybe the rest of it that is curious, and I think you mentioned communication is also there. So I think, but there's a lot of work to do. And as I speak, I want to also tell you that during the, we did have a vacation in May, but I must thank the faculty who've really burned their midnight oil to actually create a new curriculum for all of you, so that, as Pankaj said, it's about future, and everything is changing and changing fast, as we know in this AI-enabled world. So what is it that we can be ahead of? Though we pride in saying that we spot the trend, but now Pankaj gave us a bold saying that nobody can spot the trend because you don't know what the future is. So I think to that extent, we did work a lot during this time, and to see how we can actually, to align with your, the journey that you take in campus in MICA, and how do we align the curriculum to that. So what we did was, we really changed the entire process, and you will be the first batch which will go through the process of the 4 terms to align with the journey that you will be. And every journey and every term will be very, very useful, and it will be seen that there is some kind of impact in each of the journeys. So that's what we are doing. So in that journey, what we did is that the first term that you'll go through will essentially be about focusing on the student as learners, and also make you ready for summer internship. We strongly believe that when the industry comes in the end of the first term, you would be ready to talk to them and tell them
about, with all these skill sets that you have, the human-centric skill set that you have, what is it that you will do and solve the problem, to the industry, the problem that the industry has. So hence, ready to take you on the summer internship process in the first term itself. So we have initiated something which is called as business basics. Of course, most of the courses were also taught earlier, but we would be giving emphasis in a different fashion, focusing on AI and also technology and consumer tech, etc. So as already mentioned, so in this process, we also hope that most of the summer projects you would convert into PPO. So as Jaya said, yes, you will get a job. We are working towards it, and this will be, one of perhaps the best job that any of the competitors or you would face in the future. So the second term will essentially be focusing on making you as a connector, and again, connect the dots was spoken about, and also preparing each one of you to be a doer. So essentially understand, because after this, you would be getting into your summer internship placements after the second term. So hence, we want you to look at the problems differently, as already spoken about, and that MICAs do, and also, also learn a lot about and be prepared with the summer project even before going, and understand what to actually do and use your time during the summer project effectively. So there's a lot of courses and content that will be shared with you. So in this, what we've done is that, in the second year, we have also added new specializations, again, focusing on what is different, as Jaya mentioned about the research process, the research study that we've done, and where MICAs are skilled, and what the perception and what actually MICAs are, and where are the skill set that is required. So while MICAs' strength and is in the domains of creativity, communication, culture, customer, community, and context, we would also want MICAs to be capable in managerial capabilities and other data and analytics that is needed now and in the future. So to that extent, we've added so product, consumer, and brand will still be the focus as a functional specialization. Sales and CRM and business analysis will be the focus. Along with that, what we've done is that we've also added sectoral specialization, which you'll be choosing from, to give a deep dive into the sectors, because deep content and deep understanding is needed. So FMCG, FMCD, quick commerce, e-commerce, consumer tech, media and entertainment, and sports business, business analysis and AI, banking and financial services. So, so we've revamped the entire thing to see that in the second year, you will deep dive into the specialization, and then you will become, and then the final piece is on focused on lifelong learning, and emphasis on the MICAN signature courses. I'm sure you would have gone through some of them. If you can tell me, is there any course or content that you thought is a MICAN course? Semiotics, yes. Yeah? Imagining India, okay. Sorry, storytelling, yes. Storytelling, is there from the beginning, and all of that you can see. I'm sure faculty will emphasize on that, but yes, metaphors, narratives, cultural analysis, and application. So there'll be a MICAN edge, which will also be given, so that the MICAN differentiation is emphasized. So these are some of the things that we've done, and we definitely, and the faculty will be there to handhold you, and we've got very, very enterprising and interesting faculty who are very committed to giving back to each one of you, and I think they will be there, and they will definitely be there to guide you throughout the 2 years. So let me quickly give you the, so this is, we do take pride in many of our accreditation. This is this is necessary because of the regulatory framework, but we are an AICTE approved institution. and do have accreditation of National Board of Accreditation. And for the FPM students, we are also, we are equivalent, that is FPM, our FPM is equivalent to MBA, PhD, and our PGDM is equivalent to MBA. So there is no issue of further studies or even getting a job and others in academia for the FPM students, and so across. And in fact, our FPM students, as Jaya already mentioned, is teaching in the best of the institutions in India and across because of the depth of the type of knowledge that they produce, and that becomes a thought and becoming thought leadership. So interestingly, also we've been in the NIRF ranking process. Though we are a very small school, because you must understand that NIRF ranking is, we compete with large universities, and yet we are among the top 32 in the management, but in the private, like in this ranking, we have universities and we also have large institutions participating. So the sheer number gives them an edge, but MICA is among the top. When you look at private institution, MICA is among the top 10 private institutions in the country. So our governing council is both from the academia and industry. Surud is the president. Aparna Mahesh is again a MICAN. So the MICAN, and again, one of the differentiation in MICA is that the alum is there in all our touch points, or all our process. We do have MICANs supporting us. Ganga Ganapati, J. Ramachandran, Kunal, Ramakumar Ramamurthy, Santosh Desai, Shailendra Pratap Jain, and Jaya Deshmukh. So the programs that you know, postgraduate program, 2 postgraduate program, PGDMC and PGDM, fellow program, that is a doctoral program, crafting creative communication and continuous education. In the next couple of years, we are planning to add more programs in the space of communication and creativity as well, because we want to be we are known to be a management school with a difference, and that is what has actually taken the MICANs to places. And in fact, any industry that we go, and some of us visited the summer internship where our students are, your seniors are already there, and the good thing that they say is that every MICAN is different, and we really like working with them because they bring in that kind of perspective which nobody else brings in, and I think that is something that we want to keep. So as I mentioned to you, this time we've got, we've identified 150, MICA 150 industries and companies where MICANs where you would like to go. Of course, it does not mean that you only talk about this 150 company, but we are really focusing on these 150 companies. And already in the curriculum, we've got the industry folks and the, industry people from these companies coming and co-creating. And you will have and giving us the syllabus input and content, and creating the content itself. So you will have in your specialization both sectoral and functional specialization, most of them coming and teaching you as well, giving you real-time problems and helping you solve, or giving you the opportunity to solve those. So we've co-created content with the industry. They will be contributing to classrooms, and they will also, we've worked with them to also give live projects and placements. Research has always been excellent in MICA, and the excellence is proved by us in various data and counts. We are number 3 and number 5. So number 3 in the top quality publication per faculty. So this actually feeds back to our knowledge and what is being also certain, what is the models, theories that is being taught in the classrooms. So we have, for the FPM students, we do have global immersions where the students, and and global faculty who will help you, as a supervisor or guide. So just to show you some of the companies that we are working on, and we've already connected in terms of, so these are, this was actually done through the research and also the jobs that Jaya mentioned and how we are going to, what are the companies that would be recruiting MICAs. So here is the faculty. I would request the faculty to actually, once your name is, because, and I also want to mention that we are, heavily working on interdisciplinarity. This again is the future of education. So if you would see in this faculty list, we will have faculty members repeating, some of the faculty members repeating in different clusters. Hence, I request the faculty, whenever the name comes first, to present yourself to the team here, to the students. So the academic team, as already mentioned, Professor Santosh is the Associate Dean Academics. Niyati Banja and Carol are supporting him in, yeah. Okay, so we have moved from the areas, like in a regular business school, we'll have a marketing area or a finance area or OB and HR, business management. But this is the actual, what do I say, our intention to make it multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary focused, to give you skill, knowledge in the right direction, and have faculty from different discipline coming together to kind of, to work on the curriculum. So people, strategy, and operation. Professor Niyati Banja, who is also the lead curriculum. Professor Shubhra Gaur, apart from being the registrar and the student affairs, Professor Saurabh Pandya. Professor Rasanand Panda. Professor Saurabh Pandya is also the FPM chair. Professor Amit. UT Rao, Professor UT Rao. We do have the adjunct faculty as well, and faculty from the industry also. So Rajneesh is an adjunct faculty. Harmony is at the, again, a rockstar faculty who also teaches semiotics and some of the courses in communication. Vivek, Ashutosh. Deepika. So that was the curriculum team of Faculty of People, Strategy and Operations. We do, as I told you, interdisciplinary, giving emphasis on working together, collaboration, and between the verticals and functional specialization. Faculty of Interdisciplinary, Professor Pooja Thomas is the lead. She is also a specialist in cultural and communication areas. There's Manisha, who's also the CDMC chair. Professor Ruchi Tiwari, who was there in the admissions chair. So our faculty also wear multiple hats: administration, service, teaching, and research. Bikram, Vivek are adjunct faculty. Deepika again comes here because because of her work in interdisciplinary areas. Professor Shubhra, Santosh, Darshan is here. No. Professor Sukaran Thakur, Professor Ashutosh. Professor Rasan Panda again, and Mini Mathur. Yeah, Professor Mini Mathur. So the Faculty of Marketing and Consumer Behavior I lead, Professor Varsha Jain. Yeah, she's very well known in the area of academia world over with the work that she does in the consumer behavior, AI and consumer behavior. She is a machine that writes publications and comes up with papers because she works with the team across the world. So, and just like many of the other faculty here, but yes. Professor Suresh Malodia. Again, he is now the Associate Dean of Knowledge and Research. Professor Mini Mathur, Professor Ashutosh Dutt again, Utkarsh. Yeah. Professor Falguni. You would have seen her. She is also an influencer herself. And so we have, in fact, Darshan is a filmmaker. He's not here. He produces movies. Professor Rajneesh Krishna. One of our very senior faculty, again, very, very well known in the space of consumer behavior, written books and consumer insights as well. Professor Anita Basalingappa. Area of marketing and branding, Vibhav Singh. Professor Bikram and Chandradeep are adjunct faculty. The Faculty of Brand Management, you met Rajneesh and Falguni. Kalol, he's not here. Yeah, C.D. Mitra, Sukaran, Harmony, Pooja, Varsha, and Bikram. Research and Business Analytics, Professor Dutt, Professor Sunita Amal. Aditya Naisadam, Rajneesh, Professor Viral. Professor Vibhav, again, Ashutosh, and Deepika. Yeah. So this is something we've added this year, consultancy and business consulting. Having Jaya back on campus, we thought we should give her more work in terms of, curriculum and academia as well. So Jaya is leading the this curriculum, this team, faculty. Saurabh again. Oh, Jaya. I didn't see. I'm looking there. So good. So Saurabh, Advait, Ruchi, Vivek, Viral, Aditya Naisadam, Rajneesh, and Sukaran. Like I already said, there are a lot of industry, advisory board in each of these faculty. Hey, sorry. Sarah, you look so different. Okay. Yeah. So we wanted to do two different pictures of Taral. Okay, so sales and, because sales, as you know, is extremely important. The insights come from actually working on the ground. So sales and consumer relationship management faculty, Mini, Professor Govindarajan Srinivasan, very senior person. He would be coming, and he's an adjunct faculty as well. Saurabh Kalol, Darshan, and Professor Anita. Media and entertainment and sports business. So this is, last year this has got among the highest subscriptions in the specialization, but yes, there's a lot of work which is done in this space as well. Taral again. Okay, so the rest of the faculty you met. Product management, Siddharth Deshmukh, we wanted, yeah. from the academic team, yeah. So, so we have postdoctoral fellows who are supporting. There's a huge machinery which is working and supporting in terms of knowledge creation and knowledge dissemination to the students and learning and making learning interesting. So these postdocs, are you here? Yeah, please stand. We also have research associates, Anmol, Vishnu, here? Okay. And the academic associates. If the academic associates are here, please stand up. So academic associates help in all these curriculum development, curriculum delivery, and help the faculty team in the process. So fellow program, we have Professor Saurabh, who's leading. Supported by Mr. G.K. Nair. CCC, Professor Sima? Yeah. So he is the man to go for the program on CCC and the team. And we have 48 of them this year, unlike the last year. We had, 24 students, but there's a huge pull for the CCC because CCC is our flagship and legacy program as well. So the team that supports here. Yeah. And we also have online programs. Professor Basalingappa leads the LMDP, the Learning Management Development Program, along with Vijay. Vijay is here. So that's the team. That's part of the team. But we have many more. There's the entire staff. And as I told you, we do have advisory boards, industry advisory boards. I think the rest of the introduction will happen as and when you're with us, and we'll take you through the rest of the introduction and the sessions and the curriculum. So welcome once again, and have a great 2 years. And it's definitely, as Jayesh said, it's going to be transformational. So all the best.
Okay, so we are nearing the end of the program, and by now you would have guessed I'm not an academic because I don't talk anything on academics at all. But having got this space with a lot of difficulty, and let me tell you, you will see me only today. The rest of 2 years, you won't see me. I only come on the orientation. So, no, I don't come. I don't come on my. So, and for 1 month, people recognize me and say, hello, sir, hi, and all that. After that, even that goes. But so I cannot end without giving my little gyan. Okay. And as Jaya Deshmukh, our director, mentioned, we give a lot of emphasis on research at MICA. FPM is, of course, there, but also a lot of research. So I did a little research on myself. And I do that every year, last 2-3 years, about you, the PGP. Sorry, FPM and CCC, I didn't have time. I'll do that next time. But PGP. So this is what I did, and this is what I found. And I didn't use AI, I just did manually. So this is the 32nd batch. You can call them Battisi, as Madhuri calls it. So, okay. So now out of this, and I went through all the fact sheets, because you have a fact sheet which you have to fill up very dutifully. So I found out of 226, 3 are already married. Sorry, guys. There goes all the walks and the romance out of the window. You'll miss all the fun. Mm. 132, that's almost 58%, I did some maths, have never lived in a hostel in their life. Okay, so welcome guys to MICA. As you know, and as you've seen in these last 24 hours, it's just not a campus. Some people call it a resort. Some people, we call it an experience. We have students, and generally Ruchi does all this kind of slides, but this time I think I've taken some of her work. We have students from no fewer than 24 states from India. So we call Sir MICA kind of a mini India. And yes, Mumbai comes under Maharashtra. Even if you're from South Bombay, it is under Maharashtra. And Delhi is Delhi, whether you come from Dwarka or South Delhi. Okay. Because some people have specially mentioned South Bombay, some people Dwarka. So, okay, good. And then there's also a column which says special talents. Most of you have mentioned, some have not mentioned. They decided not to reveal it. Okay, so I will just give you in a minute. Many of you are trained dancers. Some have done Kathak, Bharatanatyam, all that. Great. Someone said he's really fast in mental maths. Wow. So that will be great. Someone has mentioned weightlifting as his talent. Wow. Carrying those books from library would be handy. We also have a national level athlete and a medalist among us. Wow, great. There's also a national level football player. So both of them go straight to the sports committee. We have a sports committee at MICA. So there you are. You will go uncontested. Someone has listed his ability as performing gymnastic stunts. I hope he doesn't try to jump out of the classroom. So then there's some people who have mentioned, then there are interesting people. Filmmaking, creative writing. Somebody says is good at script writing and street theater. Another says is good at filmmaking, music production, and making animation. Seriously, guys, are you in the right program? I think Professor Simha of CCC would be interested in looking at you, sir. Another student says he has worked in the film industry as an actor, writer, director. Wow, must have come very handy in those interviews. We also have a physiotherapist here. Should be handy for all of you. Sir, I'm sorry, but nobody has listed long distance running. But somebody here has still mentioned that he's into automobile racing. Someone says he's great at solving the Rubik's Cube. The last time I tried that when I was in school, so when it was a big fad. So we have a really interesting batch here. So big round of applause once again. Great to see you guys. As I said, I don't talk of academics. I'm not a non-academic guy. And as we wind up this evening, I'll request the registrar, Professor Shubhra Gaur, to give a vote of thanks. Ma'am.
A very good evening, one and all. So, while your journey, and this one is more for the incoming batches than for the front row experienced gray-haired people who have colored their hair, some of us. So, after this journey of appearing for competitions, group discussions, and so on and so forth, and this inaugural, tomorrow you start your orientation. This is the time for pause, a pause for gratitude. In different languages, we call it kratyagyata, abhar, and a very important pause. So, as it is said, gratitude is not only the greatest virtues, but also the parent of all virtues. So let's look at how many people are we expressing gratitude to. On behalf of MICA community, including you all, because now you are MICA community, we would extend our sincere thanks to many people. First and foremost, to the founder of MICA, Mr. Krishnamurthy, and express our gratitude to him and the founding members. We would now like to extend our sincere gratitude to Mr. Rai for giving us not only the 5C framework, but also collecting the dots and many words of wisdom from your extremely beautiful life full of experiences and wonderful derivations. MICA Foundation led by Mrs. Ambani, MICA Governing Council led by Dr. Tradip, you saw some of them, and Director and Dean MICA for leading us, guiding us, admissions chairs and admissions team for their tireless efforts to ensuring the rigor in the process, orientation chair and team for meticulously planning the orientation which begins tomorrow, admin head and team for making elaborate arrangements not only in the hostels where you have checked in, but all over the campus and this program, and faculty, staff, and research team for MICA, as the Dean mentioned, for tirelessly working through the summer, not a single day of break, planning the delivery of the restructured curriculum, and a special gratitude, and this one's really special. Special gratitude to the parents and family members who are not here with us in this auditorium, but probably in the seminar halls, and also listening to us through the link, live streaming link that we sent to you. And so at MICA, we do things a little differently. So I have, of course, spoken names and talked about, and didn't mention too many names because it's really difficult to bring everybody here. But as the chief guest also mentioned, everything is a work of collaboration. So much of collaboration has gone behind the scenes. Only some of us here are speaking to you and on the stage. So I do want to show you a very brief video which captures our sentiment and our gratitude. And we want to pay gratitude to every brick that was laid and every sapling that was planted. And I'm using this as a metaphor also. Not just the foundation brick and not just the sapling, the trees which you see all over, but the metaphor for the brick is the foundation, the intellectual foundation that the curriculum has had from the very beginning, from the very inception. Not just today, not just the restructured curriculum, but also the curriculum that was laid out for the first batch, of which our director is an alum. And we have one of the members from the initial curriculum team here, Professor Jyotika Ramprasad is here. So big round of applause for everyone who has contributed to, and metaphorically, the sapling is for nurturing people like yourselves. Not only planting them, but nurturing them. And again, I remind all of us of the parents and family members and you who have put faith in MICA, and we have full gratitude towards all of them. I request now Manish Bhai or Praful Bhai to play the video where we have captured some of the bites from the very special parents that we have. Those who have not spoken are also being paid gratitude to. Could we have the lights dimmed, please? Is it visible? It's not visible. It's not visible yet. It will come. The interesting thing about trees is that we don't even know who laid the foundation for that tree.
We like the campus very much. The reason behind that is entire green, open spaces.
A wonderful campus. It was a dream to my daughter. She wanted to come to MICA. But all the process were very interesting. It was like going back to school again, college again. I think MICA campus, very enlightened. We love this campus. We were waiting for it.
कॉलेज आके एकदम लगा जैसे कि लाइक वी आर इन नेचर. सो ये बहुत अच्छी बात रही कि लाइक एकदम नेचुरल है. इवन कैंटीन और सामने बैठने का एरिया, तो नेचर एंड इनोवेशन, सो बोथ विल कम टुगेदर. दैट्स व्हाट आई फील.
MICA was actually my daughter Sriya's dream college actually. So since long she planned for this. When she got into graduation, उसके पहले से प्लानिंग था कि MICA में जाना है. Finally she got it. That's great. And campus के बारे में जितना हम लोगों ने सुना था actually, काफ़ी कुछ सुना, काफ़ी कुछ मैंने देखा, उससे बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा campus है. Really a great place to be here.
कैंपस इज लाइक वेरी नाइस. उसको भी ऐसा लगेगा कि मेरा घर पे रहता, ऐसा लगेगा. मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है क्योंकि वो भी कैंपस में रह रहा था. ऐसा है यहाँ पे बहुत एटमॉस्फेयर में भी ऐसा लग रहा है. और कॉलेज अच्छा कैंप छोड़ के एकदम अच्छा बनाया है. बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. तो मेरा लड़का इससे आगे जाएगा करके मेरे को फुल होप है. MICA बहुत अच्छा तरीके से अरेंजमेंट किया है, हॉस्टल किया है, वेलकम एवरीथिंग वेरी नाइसली दे अटेंड इट.
And it's really a pleasure to bring her here, and the campus is awesome. We're already in love with the peacocks that we have seen so far, and so much of graffiti happening all over, and the hostel also looks pretty nice. The classrooms are excellent. So I think it's a promising overall thing, and we are really looking forward to a great future that Nandini comes up with. All the best to MICA and all the best to Nandini.
And we are quite excited, and we have seen the atmosphere. It's very good. The people, the staff, the other students, I've met some of them. They are very happy and very good. They are excited. And it's a lush green campus, and this is beyond our thinking. This has gone beyond our thinking. Like.
A big thank you and warm welcome once again. And we invite you for dinner, each one of you, to dinner, which will be on both the ground floor and the first floor of dining hall. So with your parents, you may reach there, and all the guests here, all faculty staff are invited. Thank you.